Hello and welcome to this week's Modern Toy Fair News, the weekly show that talks about toys. My name is Michael, and with me this week is our substitute co-host, one of the hosts of the Figuratively Speaking podcast, Nate. How are you this week, Nate?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm pretty good, despite all the terrible things that have happened in the past 20
Yeah,
minutes.
well, yeah.
Little look behind the scenes. We've had issues with Discord not wanting to record, and then my camera didn't want to focus. It was You almost had to look at me like I didn't have my glasses on and looking through my eyes,
hmm
and then you almost didn't get to hear me either. So good
Lots of fun
times.
stuff to start it off with.
So if you are new to the dumpster fire that is Modern Toy Fair News, the way it works is we break down the weekly news I decide to deem worthy of your time, and then we do our weekly purchases and send you on your way after wasting an hour of your life. But let's face it, with the week we're having, probably best to enjoy this hour while it lasts.
hmm
So
Indeed.
we're going to start off the same way we almost always start off at this point, and that is with Mcfarlane. So we're going to do some DC Multiverse news. There were some low-res leaked images of the 7-inch Multiverse Gold Red Death single-release figure, which essentially in the comics is him after Bruce is almost like exorcised out of Barry's body, followed by an overseas retailer, Rabbit Toy Store, which we've talked about them in the past, putting up pre-orders for a now rumored Dark Knight Death Metal Wave, which will have a Build-A-Figure of the Dark Father. The Build-A-Figure wave consists of Death Metal Superman, Death Metal Wonder Woman, and Death Metal Robin King. I mean, with all these leaks, you'd assume Todd is out there making stir fry or something. Like, this is ridiculous.
hmm it's funny because you're not wrong. It's been every week since I've been on here that we've talked about McFarlane to begin with, and then you name off these things, and I'm like, yeah, I guess those are things that are in the DC multiverse now. I have no idea about modern DC, which is so sad. I used to love it so much,
The sad thing
but
is, it's gotten so much better since New 52.
yeah, and that's what I hear. I'm out of the monthly game as it is, but yeah, they look. I mean, the ideas, the designs look cool. I mean, the figures they've done. We've talked about them every week, and they tend to roll out into stores then like
Oh, yeah.
within like a couple weeks after that.
I would
So,
expect next week when we're doing this that we'll have images of all of these things straight from
hmm
McFarlane, or a really terrible quality video of him playing with them at his desk.
yeah, yep, that seems to be par for the course.
But yeah,
Now,
aside,
is McFarlane even still doing the Fortnite stuff? Because I know Jazzwares is
um,
pumping them out, but
I think they've taken a break from him. I think because they've had a couple come out here and there, but they aren't coming out quite as like boom 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 as they used to.
okay,
So I have to assume that DC took over that because obviously there's more money in DC.
right.
Batman's going to outsell Fortnite every day of the week.
You'd
Um,
hope so.
and especially when you don't have any direct competitor when you're doing the DC line versus
Right.
Fortnite, you've got a direct competitor who is quality wise pretty comparable, and
Yeah.
sadly enough has more accessories for the same price point. So
Yep.
like it's almost like, why waste your time doing all these like original sculpting and wasting all this money when you could just be making money. So
Yep. Agreed.
yeah, so they do still have some come out, but I think it's like few and far between. Like I know a month or so ago we talked about one that looked like a shark's mouth as a hoodie and had this giant like tongue, and now it's hitting
hmm
stores. So they're still in Fortnite, just not as much now that they're doing
Okay.
DC. But yeah, so fortunately, the only thing we have a picture of really is the Red Death, and that's blurry as all get out, so it's not even like
Yeah.
worth trying to dissect. But
Yeah. The
they,
only pictures I saw were just from the comic. They
yeah,
didn't actually have
they
any images of the figures.
like most of their news this week from McFarlane is just from like promotional art or from like comic book art. Because even the next
hmm
story with they're announcing that they're going to do the Netflix version of The Witcher in action figure form, um, and that literally just got the logo and the Netflix logo saying it's coming soon.
Yeah, that
And
was not a big surprise. That
yeah,
made sense. I thought I mean, maybe they had to clear things up, but I thought they should have announced that a bit sooner because I think
my
there was a
guess is
lot of heat.
probably just trying to get Henry Cavill's rights to
Probably.
his likeness.
Yeah. But that show was real hot there when it was first on. But luckily, it's coming back for a second season, and
Mhm.
so it'll probably time up real well.
Yeah, they'll probably release them close to when the second season actually launches if they have prototype. I have to assume they have prototypes already made because most companies, like even Neca, they didn't have the rights to the dude who played Casey Jones' face. But if you take the mask off your Casey Jones figure, guess what? There he is.
Yeah.
Like they work on that stuff well before they get the green light, and if they don't get the green light, they're
Yep.
like, well, someone got paid some overtime for nothing.
Yeah.
And this next part of so kind of confuses me. So they showed off some more pictures for the Spawn Kickstarter figure. That's somehow a finalist for the 2021 Toy of the Year, even though it hasn't come out. Like, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's very weird, and the fact that it's a Kickstarter, and it's like, it's the company that puts on Toyfare, which is a trade show for retailers and buyers, and it's that was very confusing to me as well.
Yeah, because like, I think it was literally the day after we recorded, Todd just starts throwing up images on social media like, thank you everybody for voting for us for Toy of the Year. And I'm like, first off, I didn't know that they were doing voting for Toy of the Year yet. Right. And second off, your toy isn't even in hands yet. So how are you even like in the running? Your toy's not gonna be out until after this like happens.
Exactly.
But hey, I mean, I guess maybe they're just going by the sheer like amount of money he's made off of that because of how many backers it got, and
that could be, yeah.
They're like, hey, you made that like retail money just straight from the tap instead of having to split it.
True, it's true. People were freaking out about that when it happened. That that big companies shouldn't be using Kickstarter or something like that. And I mean, Mcfarlane's a big-ish company, but they're not huge. And I think more than anything anymore is that companies can use it as a platform for pre-sale. Mm-hmm. That's really all it is. And it was a way to make it available direct to consumer.
I'm very much in the middle on that one, just because, McFarlane's not like Hasbro big, but he's definitely not like he's not Super 7 where he's still like an up and comer. Like, he's been around for a couple decades. Yeah. He was able to obtain the DC license and all these other licenses just based off like his name and the work he's done in the past. So part of me is like, big fish in the little pond seems a little sketchy. Like, you need to maybe go the Hasbro route and do your own website to do this.
That's where I think like that's what they're doing is the HasLabs model, but they're just using Kickstarter's existing infrastructure to just make it a pre-order system that they don't have to pay for, or they have to pay little for.
Yeah, I feel like that's the equivalent of like the whole like drama that happened was a few months ago where everyone was mad at Bella Thorne because she joined OnlyFans and ruined it for everyone else. I'm like, okay, Todd, if you ain't gonna show us the goods, you need to go get on your own website.
yeah. I mean, Super 7 does have their own pre-order system, so
exactly.
Maybe Todd should.
You've been around for how many fucking decades, and you are getting outdone by a company that's been around for a few years.
Yeah. So I guess I see your point, but at the same time, like I would use that availability too, just because it's easy.
I mean, I don't blame him. It's a smart business model, but I still it just seems a little sketchy. So moving away from the Mcfarlane disappointment hour this week, since we really only got pictures of like one thing, Hasbro had a pretty big week. So we're going to start off with the Star Wars news. We did get new stretch goals for the Mandalorian Razor Crest. There is a kind of see-through flight stand to hold it up if you have it sitting on like a desk or a shelf. I don't know what desk or shelf you have that's big enough to display that on it. But
any shelf that you're going to put it on. I really like that stretch goal because it kind of makes it look like it's taking off. Or gives it like a dynamic action pose to put it in. So I think that's really cool. I was glad to see that one hit. The next one, I'm kind of like, it's fine if it does.
You mean you don't want the Jawa with the half-eaten rhino egg?
Yeah, like he's got a couple extra accessories. The figure itself is coming out in the main line for the vintage collection, so it's just an exclusive variation, I guess.
It's literally just to get that episode's stuff in it. Is like, hey, you
Yep.
got the eggs
Yep.
that he almost died to try to get just so they could have a brunch.
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
I mean, I feel like the problem is that thing's so big, you'd almost have to like if I got it, I'd want to take a card table, put 4 like 2x4s around the edges, seal it up nice, fill it with sand, and then place that stand in there like he's taking off out of the desert
Oh,
sand.
that'd be cool.
But then
Yeah.
you have to deal with the fact that you're gonna have sand everywhere, and we all know
Yeah.
how that goes in the Star Wars world.
Yeah. Yeah. Sand is not high on the list.
They also did put up pre-orders for the Vintage Collection Mandalorian in his Beskar armor, which is $14.99 and ships in December 2020. And I'm not gonna lie, this one, I was looking at pictures of it. It looks a little lazy. Like, I get with the 3 3/4 they can't get quite as much detail in, but it almost looks like it's just a straight paint silver, no wash, no nothing. Like, he just almost
probably
he looks a little
is.
too shiny is the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, there's also there's a lot of figures out right now. Like there was the one that came out last year, which you may or earlier this year that you may have a little bit of trouble finding with the regular Mando.
Mhm.
But then there's the carbonized one that's hitting Walmart now. There's the one that you're talking about, and then there's also the Walmart exclusive with the removable helmet,
Mhm.
just like the Black Series version that Target has. So yeah, definitely your Mando army can be filled out accordingly. And if you got the Razor Crest, you're getting another one too, because that one has
Yeah.
a cloth goods cape, and so that one's just slightly different.
I feel like that one's like, if anything, that might be one of the biggest selling points to like really push you over the edge on the Razor Crest,
Mhm.
is just the fact that like soft goods always wins out, and that cape, like the Star Wars capes, the plastic ones are always, they're not like a soft rubber where they're like movable. Usually they're just like a piece of plastic and it just kind of hangs there, and if it wind blows the wrong way, it just shifts and then the figure falls over and it's like a whole thing. So like anytime you get soft goods, I feel like that's the definitive one.
Yeah, and that's the appeal there, is that he can actually sit in the cockpit with his
Mhm.
cape on. So yeah.
That, and if you get the jetpack for him, you can have it kind of like just pushed over,
Yeah.
like it is in season 2.
Yeah, because I just opened the 6-inch Black Series Beskar armor Mando this week,
Mhm.
and that does not work with the plastic
Yeah.
chunk cape. So I may have to actually go on like eBay or something and look for one of these third-party cloth capes for him.
If you're gonna look for one, check out on Instagram Rebel 10 Customs.
Oh yeah.
She's done a few things for me. She's actually currently working on a few things for me. We've talked about
Cool.
her before on the show, and I even reviewed I got a set of 4 animated NECA turtles, trench coats and hats from her, and they're really
That's
solid.
awesome.
So, and she's pretty cost effective. So,
That's cool. Yeah, I've heard of her. So I'm gonna definitely have to do that and see what she's got for that, because yeah, it definitely needs it. I right now I took the cape off and just have the jetpack, but it's like it's missing something.
yeah, it just doesn't look right, because even you just don't have that like stuff like right around his neck. Like I feel like that's just
Yeah.
part of the look.
Yep,
That's what makes him look like a space cowboy.
that's right. It's exactly what it makes him look like.
But
A
that's
friend
not
of
all-
mine pointed out this week, just on a side note, that Jon Favreau had directed Cowboys and Aliens, and how that movie just didn't quite work, but yet he found a way to finally make a Western in space work. So
That is, yeah, that's funny that he literally had that terrible movie, and now he's found a way to make it actually work while
Yep.
in one of the biggest criticized like franchises on the face of the planet.
yeah, that everybody seems to be universally like, yeah, we love it.
That's impressive.
More.
Like, yeah, that's the one
Mhm.
Star Wars property other than the original trilogy that people just will not shit on. Like, it's
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. Moving on from Star Wars, though, Hasbro also had some, I wouldn't necessarily call them announcements, but they had some Power Rangers prototype images, and oddly enough, all in box. And it feels like it was just a month or so ago that we only saw sketches of these. So we've got the upcoming Space Red Ranger with Astronema, I think is how it's pronounced. The SPD Blue Squad Blue Ranger and the SPD A Squad Blue Ranger, which that's still blue on blue violence is not okay, kids. Along with now these are the ones I'm excited for: the deluxe King Sphinx and deluxe Pumpkin Wrapper figures. And they also revealed during their live stream that the pumpkin wrappers, extra pumpkins, fit on the heads of like the other figures, so you can like full on have like scenes from the episode. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. But now you have to buy multiple of them, so you can just be like, everybody gets a pumpkin.
Yeah, I don't know if that putty 2-pack is still available on Pulse, but if so, you might want to grab it while you still can to be able to put those pumpkin heads on there too.
Yeah, but then like get a couple of those 2-packs, buy a couple of the pumpkin wrapper, and you can have just an army of pumpkin putties.
Yeah. So I put my pre-order in for King Sphinx and the other 2-packs. I sadly did not put my pre-order in for Pumpkin Wrapper.
Why?
As he is in the footage that was shot by the same studio as Sentai, but it was shot for the show specifically for Power Rangers, so it doesn't fit my wheelhouse. But you know, it looks great, and I think it's cool. I think that the fact that it comes with those extra pumpkin heads is brilliant, and it's just brand synergy, because like I said, you should then go and make sure you don't miss out on those putty 2-packs that they had, so you can do that.
Yeah, 100% agree. So I have to ask you this: since you did order King Sphinx, seeing the like up close pictures of him, is it just me, or does he just not feel like he's very like finished?
He doesn't. He looks very bland. So I'm curious to see what that's going to look like in hand. Sometimes the Hasbro stuff does that. It looks really bland on the glamour shots that they send, and then when you get it in hand, it looks really, really good. Case in point, like I had mentioned, the Logan 2-pack from SDCC, or what was supposed to be SDCC. Those promotional shots did it no favors, and it turned out fantastic. So they've been kind of skimping on the extra details. You know, like they don't really do washes. It's kind of a very basic look. But I'm hoping that once we get it in hand, it does look better. But I agree with you. It does look a little off.
Even this, like, I'm cool if you want to skip out on doing a wash. It's not the end of the world. Most lines don't do it anymore. Even like Marvel Legends, they do it only on specific figures. But looking at it, it feels like they were like, okay, we've got 3 colors we can use: gray, blue, and yellow. And anything that is outside of those, like even his face, like it just looks like they put zero effort into like trying to paint the detail. Yeah. So I hope you're right, and it does come out seemingly better in person. But I saw that, and I'm like, man, when did Lightning Collection become a kids line? Like this is rough.
Yeah, which we'll have to talk about that, because there's some there's confusion there for me. Yeah, we'll get to that in our weekly purchases.
Oh, okay then.
A mystery foreshadowing.
I dig it. Gotta keep people watching for the whole hour. Get that algorithm up. So rounding out the Hasbro news, we did have some Marvel Legends announcements. So they announced a Negative Zone Gamerverse Spider-Man. No pictures of him or anything like that. Just kind of, hey, it's going to happen at some point. But then they did put up pre-orders, and this one's super exciting, for the retro-carded Jonah Jameson. And
this looks great.
Yeah, he releases in January. He's a fan channel exclusive. However, you can order him on Big Bad Toy Store. He is $22.99, and everything, the rolled up paper, the folded out one, like this figure's absolutely fantastic. I will definitely be pre-ordering this one. The
colors, like the suit that he's wearing is perfect. Yeah, it's awesome. We've been long overdue. The closest we got was there was a J. Jonah Jameson head that was included with the chameleon.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I took my movie Claw and used that body, which I think they used parts of that to do it. And I had a stand-in, but he had like sweet tats up and down his arm that I had to like kind of hide.
You got that 2020 hip to it, JJ.
Yeah. But that was the closest I got, and it's weird that such a Spider-Man mainstay, hasn't had a truly great Marvel Legends figure. Even really I don't think in the Toy Biz days, other
No.
than the movie version.
Yeah, they did the one for the Spider-Man, like, Tobey Maguire movies, but that was about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and when I saw that they did characters like the way that they did Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker in the line, when they said that they were going to do some more one-offs, I was like, they've got to.
Yeah.
This is a perfect opportunity for it. It was great to see it. So.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. I just need to now get a desk so he can just be permanently sitting there just screaming, "Get me pictures of Spider-Man."
Yep. Yeah, you have to look out on Big Bad Toy Store because sometimes they'll have some really cool 1/12 scale accessories.
I've got
and because I think I ordered something, I always get the email about it now, and it's just cool to see. Like most of them are Japanese things with Japanese writing on them and stuff, but sometimes you can find some things that you can use for anything. So I would take a look on there and see if you can find a desk.
Oh yeah, I have a few things I've gotten. I've gotten some like metal shelving for almost like a Punisher display. I've got a gun rack which I'm currently using as a Batman like accessory display. So they have all sorts of cool stuff on there for like 112 stuff. And I never knew it existed until one day it came across like in one of the Facebook groups. And I'm like, okay, well, let's go spend some money.
Yeah. Because we know you love the accessories.
Oh, I do. Accessories are the way to my heart, man. You give me accessories, I will buy your figure even if I don't like it if it has cool accessories.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a spoiler for weekly purchases because it's not going to be a part of it, but I just used some of my sideshow points to get another Ultra Instinct Goku just so I could have another one of the energy balls.
Hey, do what you got to do.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've bought a bunch of the Dragon Ball figures just to get the Dragon Balls, so.
Yeah. You're going to be real pissed when they come out with like a whole set.
Oh,
somewhere.
I'm gonna. Yeah, my only hope is that if they come out with a whole set, it's gonna be the ugly versions like Chi-Chi has, where it's got that weird gloss to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's my only like saving grace is that if they do that, that's what they look like.
Okay.
Or they do it like they did with the Eternal Dragon, where they're just stuck on a display, and I'm like, okay, just fingers crossed because I'd be so mad. I mean. It's a lot of money spent for some stupid Dragon Balls. That's not all of the Marvel news we have this week. So not necessarily Hasbro, but Disney Store announced a new exclusive Marvel Select Venom and Carnage set of figures. They are available on shopdisney.com and they are $24.99 each. So Marvel Select I have a very love-hate relationship with because after Toy Biz lost the license to Hasbro and the first set of Hasbro Legends were just garbage.
Terrible.
Marvel Select is where I went because I'm like, okay, they're a little overly detailed, but they're closer to what we got with Toy Biz than they are with what Hasbro was giving us. But even then, like I just felt like they were always a little too textured. Like they went too hard to like try to make them look like real life, but not going all the way to it. So like they're really cool, but they also are very limited articulation, which always killed me.
Yeah, especially early on.
Yeah, I remember having like the Juggernaut and trying to get him to pose was miserable because he was so heavy and his legs did not move for anything.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Like they've done a Venom a couple of times now, and I think they've done a couple Carnages, but they're popular characters. I can't help but feel like. Was the movie supposed to be out around this time?
That's what I was gonna mention. Is I feel like these are getting released solely because the movie was supposed to come out this year around this time.
Yeah.
Before the apocalypse happened and they had to delay everything.
Yeah, and we don't have movies anymore.
Yeah, we don't know what movies are.
Yeah.
I will say these ones are pretty cool though. I like the Carnage head where it's all like coming off his body and going like to the left or right or whatever direction. And I'm very confused by Venom's like derpy face, but I know I've seen that in the comics a few times, so I get it.
Yeah, it's definitely cool because it's not, even though it is sort of like hey, we're releasing another Venom, but if you don't have any, it makes a great a first Venom for you. But if you have the other ones, you can get this one too, and it's completely different from what you have. So I think it's awesome.
It's a smart move, make it just different enough that like okay, you can get that itch even if you already have one, but like still making it not too out there where someone can be like, yeah, this is my first Venom.
Yep.
But moving on from some Marvel and Disney news. We have Neca, who showed off inbox images of Splinter and Shredder's 2-pack that will begin shipping, well, has begun shipping now to Walmarts. And based on just looking at the packaging, I really hate them for this, but Splinter now apparently comes with some slippers and the slice of pizza that you can put on his head.
Yeah. My friend is buying it specifically for that.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like I don't really like I've talked about it on the show before. I've never liked Splinter because of childhood trauma, where my father decided. Do you remember the old Playmates Splinter from the movie that was like flocked and had like fur?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my father decided to take his robe off and chase me around the house with it, pretending it was a dead rat. So I was a little scarred for life, and I was like, Splinter can go to hell. Like in the 2012 series when Shredder stabbed him, like, yeah, get him. So like,
yeah,
I have a little deep pent up issues there. But the fact that he comes with the slippers and the pizza on his head, I'm like, I hate you, Randy. I hate you, NECA. Like, why?
Yeah.
Just re-release shit the way it was the first time.
I definitely could see myself getting this again, though, because my Splinter is the one from the actual SDCC set, so it comes with the chains, and like I have them on the box. So to have a regular one with Splinter with slippers and pizza on his head, I can always use another Shredder. So
yeah,
I think you just talked me into getting it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the problem will be actually trying to find it because these ones have not been easy. I found Casey Jones relatively okay after a while. I've seen the Foot Soldiers, I think, twice. I've never seen the Turtles.
Yeah.
Like the Walmart versions, at least.
I've had Jamar on the hunt for those up until he went on hiatus, and he never found them. And I literally only need them because it was one of those things where I didn't want to go and just have to, because I'm going to spend almost the same amount of money buying them individually, but I need another Mikey and another Donnie, because I have two. I'm trying to get two of each, because I have Jamar managed to find me three, and I found the fourth one myself, of the Raph and Casey sets, so I was able to get 4 trench coats.
Oh, okay.
And then I just traded off the rest of the ones I didn't need from all that nonsense. And it's such a pain getting the trench coats and everything on and off. I was like, okay, I need a normal set that I can pose of them like fighting and stuff too. But like, you're going to spend $40 on one figure, or you could potentially find sets of 2 of them for $50. Like, it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing.
Yeah, and I got that accessory set that I ordered direct. So rather than try to take the heads off the original ones that I have, I'd rather just get new ones and then just display them with the completely different, expressions and stuff. So
that's kind of what I want to do too, because I think what I'm going to do is put the new expression pack on the trenchcoat turtles, since they look happier, and then just have the moody ones for the ones fighting.
Yeah.
So, and it's also nice that, because originally I wanted the 2 packs because of the fact that they came with the draped down bandanas, but now that comes with the accessory packs, so you don't need it. But let me see. I know we have more from NECA, so they also gave us some more images of the Ultimate 7-inch Ghostface Killer coming out before the end of the year, and then we finally got the final packaging of the old Fawn from Pan's Labyrinth, and that is also set to come out before the end of the year. And I did not realize the Ghostface Killer came with like 4 different versions of his mask. Like, that's pretty solid.
It is really cool. What I thought was interesting, though, and I guess you're calling it the Ghostface Killer and not Ghostface Killa, member of the Wu-Tang Clan. But the box shots that they showed, it just said Ghostface.
Well, yeah.
So I'm assuming they must have just licensed the costume and not Scream.
I think it's more of a retail issue. I would assume it's more so like back in the day when like Walmart and Targets and Toys R Us didn't want toys to have like murder or war or like certain things on the packaging.
Walmart and Target have tons of Jason Voorhees figures on their shelf, so...
Yeah, but nothing on there directly says killer or murder. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, but I'm saying because it doesn't have the word Scream on it. It doesn't
Oh,
actually say the
I
name
didn't
of the
realize
movie.
that. Okay, then yeah, maybe they did just
So it just
license
says
the costume.
Ghostface. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay.
did they not? Is that their way around? Because I noticed it on the 8-inch like cloth one too. It just says Ghostface. It doesn't say Scream.
I thought I saw one, unless that maybe I just didn't read the title that was on it, but I saw one that looked like the cover of the movie, with his face in the knife and everything. And I said, I guess one of those things you see something and it just instantly and your mind fills in the blanks. Maybe I read it as Scream and it just said
Yeah,
Ghostface.
yeah. Take a look. I'll double check on it too because I haven't picked it up yet. And I'm still waiting for that ultimate one. But yeah, the fact that it comes with the multiple faces, because I mean, I'm not for sure because I haven't watched them all in a really long time, but that might be one from each movie. I'm not sure.
I would assume so because I feel like that'd be. I feel like that's especially at least a couple of them are from different movies.
Yeah, because the 4 has a different one. I think that's the glow in the dark one, maybe, but definitely then the scythe that it's got is definitely from the 4th movie.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure like the weird burnt up crispy one isn't like from the same as like the normal ones.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't watched 4 since it came out in theaters. I saw it once in theaters. Thought it was fine. I actually liked it quite a bit, but I've not revisited it. I don't care for 3 at all, and I like 1 and 2 a ton, but I probably haven't watched. I 2 I probably haven't watched in 10 years, so I should dig those out.
Yeah, then you can come back and tell us which one's from which movie.
Which one goes with which mask? Yeah,
sounds like a perfect excuse for homework. So moving on from Neca, we did get over at Figuarts with Tamashii Nations. They gave us some updated, closer looks at the first form Frieza figure, and also announced that he will be coming in April of 2021. So he does come with 4 interchangeable faceplates, swappable head parts, so I assume that's kind of like Vegeta, where one head has a spot for a scouter and the other, if you don't want it, has it. So
yeah,
if you
I think
don't
so.
want it. And then you've got a swappable right wrist, which I don't know what that would be for. 2 sets of hands, the scouter, supernova energy ball effect, and the 5-star Namekian Dragon Ball, the space pod, and the stand for the space pod. And they teased at one point on Twitter like for pre-orders, but nothing ever went up, so I'm not sure what's going on with that, because they literally posted like all the pictures and they're like Frieza up in 5 minutes, and it's like cool. And I've checked their website, I've checked Premium Bandai, I've checked Bluefin, I've checked Big Bad. Nobody has pre-orders for him yet, so I don't know what's going on.
I wonder if that was strictly just in Japan, and then Bluefin will offer their pre-order later,
Very
or
possible.
if it'll be premium.
I hope
it seems like
premium.
They do like. My only thing with premium is that I haven't gotten anything other than my show exclusives. So like everything I've ordered since they started hasn't shipped yet. The one nice thing is that when it starts coming, it's already paid for. So then that like I think I only have like 3 things at Big Bad Toy Store now that are on pre-order, because everything else is through Premium Bandai. So it's not as bad of a hit to the wallet because I've already paid it.
Yeah, that I feel it there. My problem with Premium Bandai is I just feel like I don't like the limited time window. Like I don't like that. It's like, okay, instead of I have until like a month or 2 before it releases, I now have to, within like a month and a half span, budget it in with all the other stuff that gets announced and try to figure it out. Because like even it was like a website that takes the money up front, a big deal. But like if you give me a couple months to try to figure it out, it's a little easier to swing than be like, okay, here's pre-orders. We're not going to tell you when they end until like a week before, and then we'll be like, hey, you have 1 more week.
Yeah.
That
yeah, because I haven't done Raditz yet, so that's
yeah.
I got to do that one yet.
I need to make sure to do Raditz, and I have a couple more days to do Raccoon, and I keep forgetting to go on there and do that. But I guess another problem I have with Premium Bandai is because 1, they're a little more expensive than what they usually retail for, and 2, because it's made to order at that point, they're a lot more limited, which then means that if you missed out, it's going to be significantly more right out the door.
Yeah.
Versus like
and I can see all that.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I
I
missed
feel
out
like
on.
that's a big enough one that'll be a regular release
I would
with
hope
it being
so,
Frieza,
but
but
it's hard telling. They seem like
it is.
they really like their premium because then they don't have to share the profit with anybody,
It's
and
true
then
too.
they don't have to mass produce it and hope that they are able to distribute them and not get stuck with
Yeah,
anything. Because let's be honest, that's a big issue they have with some of the Dragon Ball figures and with some of the event exclusives that aren't as popular, and then they
hmm
try to like discount them heavily in bundles during cons and stuff, and they still don't sell. So like,
right.
I mean, I can't blame them for it, but it still sucks. So this next story though is a little weird in my opinion. So I always mispronounce it, so I'm just gonna call them Action Heroes because I don't know how they actually pronounce it. From Beast Kingdom are making Toy Story Sid and Andy 1/9 scale dynamic action figures. Each have interchangeable parts and accessories, including Woody and Buzz. This is set to ship in April of 2021, and they each retail at $69, which is even more weird. Uh, and all I can say is you were so preoccupied with whether or not you could do it that you
hmm
didn't stop to think if you should.
Right. We can make Toy Story toys, guys. The bad news, it's just Sid and Andy.
Yeah.
But it's Toy Story, so
I mean, there's companies out there who've already made like Figmas of like Buzz and
yeah.
Woody, and that one poor Woody has that one faceplate that everyone just likes to use in the most perverted situations.
hmm
So it's just like, why? Like, it's a cool concept. Like, I guess if you're a hardcore Toy Story fan, this you're gonna be like all over.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's not that many hardcore Toy Story fans who are like, I want Andy. Like,
Yeah.
no, you're like, I want Woody and Buzz and Slinky, and I want an accurate sized RC for them to ride around on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's a very bizarre, especially like 1/9 scale. Like that's more like
yeah,
around NECA size. Like that's okay. Like
yeah, I thought it was because now they're gonna be like bigger than most of your other figures you have,
yeah.
and they're supposed to be like 10-year-old kids.
Yeah, it's very strange. Very strange.
Uh,
They look good. Like they
yeah.
really look like what they're supposed to.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure who these are for.
Me either. One thing that creeps me out when you look at these pictures, I can't figure it out, but they have some close-ups. I didn't put them in the drive, unfortunately, just because I was like, I can't. They're too creepy.
Right.
Their eyes look like they're those ones where you can like put the tool and like move them around.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like those.
Yeah, and I'm just like that. That just gets a little
Yeah.
too creepy and a little too weird.
Yep. No,
And
I don't
also,
like that.
Andy comes with a change of clothes so he can be a cowboy, and I'm like, okay, this is getting weirder. They're $69. You're undressing Andy. Like,
No.
who in
No.
the boardroom was like, this is gonna be our big hit, guys.
Yeah. This is all bad. This is
Yeah.
all bad.
Yeah, they definitely.
Anybody who pre-orders this is going to be on some sort of list. Just just know it now. And it's like when I pre-ordered that Chi-Chi from the Dragon Ball series. I'm like, well, I'm going on a list.
Oh yeah,
I'll be monitored from now on. And
yeah.
I understand.
They're gonna be like, this
It's
guy's
weird.
into like hentai of like 10-year-old girls.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not. I'm just a Dragon Ball completist.
Oh man. Which, speaking of Dragon Ball, that's a perfect segue away from this
I
creepy.
see. I'm just
creepy-
the king of them.
You are. It's this.
Yeah.
So in the last minute addition to the show, literally 20 minutes before we started recording, well, starting having issues and then started recording,
Right.
the Tamashii Nations held their 2020 event, revealing several new-ish SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super figures. First, we've got a look at the complete Ginyu Force with all 5 members. Then we got the both blue and blonde versions of Launch side by side. There is Piccolo, who's actually due out next month in December.
Yep.
There's the Premium Bandai Gohan, who I believe is set for, isn't he January or February?
Yeah, because the first releases, which I think were coming out in November, so I think Gohan is in January.
Yeah. So we've got Gohan. And then from there we get into some actual like legitimate newer stuff. So we have a Cell Saga version of Yamcha, an updated TN, getting a first time
Both
ever.
smart moves.
Yeah, especially with how much
Because it's
those
bringing
ones
those
are.
characters out. They're not terribly different. I mean, Yamcha's a bit more different because of his hair, but Tien's not really that much different. But he looks better.
Yeah.
And it's a way to get the character back out there. But if you already have one, you're fine with getting another. But if you don't have one, this is another one of those.
Yeah, and it kind of works out because I saw someone take Yamcha and turn him into, I guess it could have either been the final season of Dragon Ball when he's like late teens, 20-ish, or beginning of DBZ when he faces Raditz, where he doesn't have like the blue shirt under. They've swapped out his feet with like actual like bare feet, and it looked pretty cool. So
That's awesome.
I'm like, okay, I kind of want Yamcha, but I want to spend $150 to make a custom season 1 Goku. Yeah, and then we're getting first time ever a Chaozu figure, and then we are getting an updated color variant to Nappa. Then there's the powered down version of Vegeta from the Cell Saga. There's a new set that's coming out, which I find very cool but very strange, with Goku stuffing his face with a like entire thing full of food.
Oh, like, that was like when people ask who is that for, it is for me. I will buy anything that has Goku eating something on it. It's one of my favorite shirts. It's just him eating. That's such a huge part of the show.
It is.
That people don't think about. Like that's all he cares about is fighting and
food.
Eating.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
so I saw that and I got so excited. I almost woke up my wife. I'm like, look at this, because she knows how much I love Goku eating. That's one of the few pops I still have is him eating noodles. Like, it's just so good. Yeah. So the fact that they're doing that, I'm like, okay, that's super weird and bizarre, but I'm in.
Yeah, like I'm down for it, especially with like the new faceplate and the new hand to hold like the chopsticks and stuff. My only concern is the food. I hope it's just like temporary like stuff they're using for the promotional pictures, because I feel like it's not cartoony enough. It looks a little too Barbie dollish.
Yeah, because I actually bought some like miniature like sushi plates, like almost like for Beerus to hold on to, and they work really well, but they are kind of realistic like that. But I mean, it still gets the point across for like little tiny gourmet food all around them.
Don't even get me started. I have so many tiny pieces of food. Like I've got several different versions of pizza I can use between Marvel Legends and NECA. I've got water bottles from the wrestling figures. I bought the AEW Chris Jericho figure just to get the like plate of like crackers and meat and cheese and the solo cups. Like, oh, man, I like it. Can have a freaking Thanksgiving dinner for my figures. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So this will have to go in there.
Yeah, that'll be pretty awesome to get. And then we're also getting, I believe these are updated versions, at least for sure of one of them, of Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 Goku. Because I don't think we've gotten a Super Saiyan 2 before.
We have not. And it's really smart to do that because we haven't gotten a Super Saiyan since the 1.0 body days. And even that, I believe, was manga colors.
Yeah.
So we haven't had a really good anime style or just another re-release of a regular Super Saiyan, and then let alone Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah, because I know they did the 2.0 of Vegeta in Super Saiyan, and he's luckily not like super expensive, so I plan on getting him just because the only other Super Saiyan Vegeta there is in the current style is the Majin Vegeta. And I mean, unless you want to buy two of them and you know, acetone the M off his forehead, you're kind of SOL. But yeah, it's kind of nice to see, you know, Super Saiyan getting some love again since it's been so long. My only concern looking at these, and I mean, this usually happens to their prototypes because they're hand painted. The hair looks a little too pale.
Yeah, we'll have to see when they actually have like some pre-production samples.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the problems with the Super Saiyan figures in general. Because even the Majin Vegeta and like the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, their hair they try to like shade it too much. Versus like then you have the Super Saiyan Blue where it's literally just looks like a piece of candy. It's like, just give me that. I don't need it just crazy shaded and stuff like that. Just give me a solid like nice orangish yellow blonde head.
Yep.
Like I think no, because that was Super Saiyan Blue too. I was thinking the Gogeta figure, but no. Um, so yeah. Oh, and that's still not it. They revealed the brand new Namek Bulma, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They showed off, and I'm glad I caught this because I definitely typed the wrong name here. Hit is getting a figure, and this one
that's one of my last holdovers from the Dragon Stars.
Mm-hmm.
I still have that figure because they haven't made them, so I'll have to hurry up and see if I can sell that and the version 1 Frieza that I still have kicking around.
Yeah, man, unload those while you can. And then this one, I'm kind of not sure if this is supposed to be a solo like accessory they're selling, kind of like they did with the motorcycle, or if it's a hint that it's something else we're getting. So we've got Cell's Shedded Skin Shell. Try saying that 7 times fast.
Yeah, I think we're getting a version 1 Cell.
I do too. I mean, it was already rumored because I think it was back during San Diego Comic-Con when they did their little presentation and live stream. They handed one of the guys, and we actually talked about this on the recap episode, some pieces of paper that showed like upcoming releases. One of them was Namek Bulma, and the other one looked very much so like First Form Cell. So I'm like, this clearly would, correlate, but unless the prototype's just not ready, I feel like why not just show it off now? Because Toyfare's
might be later in the year.
Because I mean, Toyfare's already been pushed, so it's not like they're gonna be like, oh yeah, in a couple months we're gonna be showing things off anyway. So yeah, like that was exciting enough that I had to include it in this week rather than move it to next week.
Oh yeah.
Like I was scrambling to get the graphics ready and everything.
Yep. No, I was so excited to see those, and a lot of those character re-releases are exciting. And then just with characters like Hit that we didn't have yet for Super, and then I think it's great that they're doing a recolor of Nappa because that's been a tough one to get to.
I just don't know how I feel. Like it looks cool, but the problem is, so like I look at it and then I try to look at the anime to actually see like which one might be better and more accurate. Because I like the unshaded version of the original, where it's just the matte black, but he's also not like fully like accurate. But this one almost feels like he's got too much shading, and I'm like, that's going to clash so much when I have the 2.0 Vegeta, who's very much just a matte blue and some white and tan, and some is like, maybe it'll bring down the price of the other one.
Yeah, well, that always could be too.
I mean, it worked with the androids. Like everyone like went, oh, it won't happen, and I see people now trying to unload the old versions of the Android for like $120 each when they were $280 just less than 3 months ago.
The only reason I still really want original 18 is just for that Krillin head.
Oh yeah. See, here's the problem. I had the original 17 at one point when I first started collecting the line. I had him, and I think the only ones I had were him. I had Awaken Super Saiyan Goku, and then I had the Comic-Con version of Piccolo. And I still, this day, I like the 17 from that version better than the new one, because I owned the new one at one point because I pre-ordered all the Figuarts figures for Comic-Con, and I looked at 18, I looked at 17, and it looked more like the old releases where they were like artsy shaded, like it was more like pastels instead of just like a solid like harsh color, where I feel like the old ones had that kind of like matte black and the bright orange, like it popped more. I will say the faces on the new ones are significantly better, so it's one of those things like if I had the money, I'd just be like, all right, we're gonna have you, and boop, and be done with it. But yeah, I'm curious. Part of me is like excited about the new base form Vegeta, because like he's probably in my top 3. My only thing is like right now I actually have it right here because I was dicking around with it. I have the Majin Vegeta body with the base form head from 2.0 release, since my 2.0 one has the Scouter on. So I'm like, unless they give me some new faceplates with some new expressions, probably don't need that one.
Yeah.
Or my luck, they'll be like, hey, it comes with an energy blast. And I'm like,
Oh, they'll stack them up with accessories.
oh yeah, they'll give me some energy blasts. I mean, if they package them with even like alternative Super Saiyan heads, I'll be like, okay, I'm down for that. I'll get that
Yep.
one instead. So, yeah. So that's wraps up the news for the week. So I guess the next step would go to weekly purchases, and
Woo!
since you already kind of gave us a prelude to some of the stuff you're doing for yours, I'm just gonna get mine out of the way because I literally have two.
Okay. Oh,
Um,
okay.
so along with my sideshow freebies that I got, I got the Ultra Instinct Goku just to get the blast since I was like it's free and there's nothing else on the website I want. I also got Dragon Ball Krillin.
Nice. It's a
Um,
fun figure.
It is. At first, I was like, I'm just gonna get him for the Kamehameha Blast and for the Dragon Ball, and then be like, bye. But the more I sit here with him on my desk and play with him, I'm like, God damn it, he's pretty sweet.
He's awesome. He's awesome. And if you
Um,
don't have an original one, it still kind of works. Like
mhm.
he doesn't. I mean, he changes, but not drastically.
Yeah,
So at least you have a Krillin presentation, a
yeah.
representation of
That's
some type.
that's one thing I'm surprised they didn't do. Like they had all these other
Yeah, I'm too.
characters. Is that I'm surprised they
I
didn't
am
do an
too.
updated Krillin.
And I think they still will, but
Yeah,
it's surprising to see that before Yamcha and Tien.
yeah. Oh, I mean, I guess Yamcha's a no-brainer because you literally just use the same body and give him a new head. So
Right.
probably costs
Right.
the least amount of money. Where they'd have to make a whole new body for 2.0 for Krillin
Yeah.
with the updated legs and everything. So this next one, I was shocked when this showed up because I pre-ordered it from Amazon, and I figured it was going to be the same scenario that I run in with Big Bad Toy Store, where I'm like, okay, I'll get it like a month after everyone else. No, this just all of a sudden I got charged from Amazon like $60, and I'm like, what the hell? Who's buying shit on my Amazon? And I look, I'm like, oh, he charged. So I've got my final form
Oh,
Jiren.
nice.
Yeah, so I'm super excited. Like he's pretty sweet. I'm actually in the process of reviewing him for Monday's Modern Toy for Reviews.
Nice.
Right now he's got his constipated face on just because it cracks me up. Um, but yeah, I was super excited for that because I do have the normal version of Jiren, the one that arms just snap off because of poor quality control. Unfortunately, both of mine broke, but they stick on good enough that it's like unless I'm like die Goku die, like they don't like fall off or anything. Right
What
away.
did you do that broke him? Because I still have an open mine. Like, were you
Literally,
trying to switch out
yeah, it's just switching
the
them out
pieces?
for the crossed armed ones.
Okay.
Yeah, because the problem is the little red peg that's inside his that attaches to his shoulder. It's so flimsy that like you almost want like I'd even be afraid to heat it up because I feel like that's gonna make it flimsier.
Hmm.
But it's too tight like inside the class, so when you pull it off, you're sitting there yanking, it either just rips it off, or even if you try to like gently like twist it to come off, it just twists it right off too.
Okay.
Luckily, again, his like bicep and shoulder, the connection's so tight that like I've got him like let me grab it from up here. Sorry, Vegeta. Like he poses fine. I can move his arms fine.
Okay.
Like it doesn't really. Well, it does come off, as you can see, if you're a little too aggressive with it. But for the most part, like yeah, it's tight enough in there. Just pop it on. It doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
As long as you're not too aggressive and shaking him like a baby, you're fine.
Yeah. It just still kind of stinks for the price that we pay for them. That
Oh, I 100% agree. Lucky for me,
Yeah.
because of that, since I came in late, he didn't skyrocket in price because he was a shit figure.
Right.
So I was able to get him relatively cheap. But I so far I haven't run into any quality issues with the new one. I still hate the peg they use for his head though. That weird like
Yeah.
wonky flat disc thing. But I think this one will probably maybe I'll put the cross arms back on him and he'll go on the shelf. And I think Beefy Jiren might be the definitive one for my display.
Yeah. I got mine on order from Big Bad Toy Store, so it hasn't come in. But I did just get charged for my Bulma bike from Dragon Ball, so I have that coming on the way.
Yeah,
So.
that wraps up my stuff. I only had those two.
Okay.
Nothing too exciting.
All right. I don't have well, it's funny because I was like, I don't think I have anything, and then a bunch of stuff showed up today
It's
in
like
the
they
mail.
knew.
Yeah, so let me get a couple of the little ones out of the way. So I got my first two of the Star Wars holiday figures.
Oh, okay.
I think these are awful. I think they are obnoxious, and I love them. Like when they first announced them, I was like, "Those are just atrocious." I can't wait to get them all. So these will be out during Christmas. Like I'll have these set up.
I noticed you didn't
I'll
appreciate
have.
the meme I sent you.
What did you send me?
I sent you a meme a few weeks ago, and you just like left me on red. So I was like, "Oh, he didn't fight as funny as I
Oh,
did," because I knew you
I'm
ordered them,
sorry.
and it basically it like lists off some of the symptoms of COVID, and it says loss of taste, and then the next picture is it says people who ordered the Star Wars Christmas figures, and they're like side eyeing,
All right,
like, "Uh
that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. And I'm sorry I missed that. I don't know what happened there. Right after last week's show, so the next day I got Roadkill
oh,
Rodney
nice."
and Triceratron. So Triceratron is a big, beefy, cool figure. I just am messing with the one right now, just kind of doing all the things with him and seeing what he can do before I change the other one. But yeah, so you get two Roadkill Rodneys and one Triceratron. I don't know what the deal is with the next one. I think it's coming out here in a few weeks. I'm not gonna go crazy looking for that one
Isn't that
because
one
it's
just
just
two more of those Triceratrons?
yep,
Well, I
yep.
thought your role of army building is the power of three.
Well, they're not the same, so it's technically not army building. They're completely different characters.
I mean,
But
it's kind of army building.
if I find it, I'm gonna buy it. I'm just not gonna like freak out over it.
Okay, so you're not gonna
Um,
go there like I did and talk to the
right,
nice man in electronics and become his best friend to go
right.
and grab you turtle things from the back every week.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
So, but
reasonable.
if I walk in, there it is. I'll buy it. So, the thing that I was alluding to earlier. So I got this from Amazon today, and it looks a very cool
Ooh.
box. So what this is the recent Megazord packs that they had done for like $15.
Mm-hmm.
But they put them in this box and released it as an Amazon exclusive for $40. I think it was supposed to be a Power Morphicon exclusive, and then when that show didn't happen, they gave them to Amazon. But,
You sound so disappointed.
you know, I, I should have had the right expectations going in as it is. I'm confused by this. It's very cheap feeling. In fact, I had to like, in order to like transform it, I had to take the T-Rex. I had to like cut the hinge because it just would not go back on. And it like kind of falls apart really easy. So I mean, for $40, you definitely get what you pay for. It's very minimal design. My confusion is like, I understand Power Rangers is still very viable for kids, but like, are kids into Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? Like, I
I,
don't.
I
That
I'm
confuses me.
I'm not like part of me wants to say yes, just because I know at least in like the current iterations they've done crossovers with the older versions.
Yeah,
Because I've seen pictures of it, and they're like not like shitty photoshops or like cosplays or anything like that. So like maybe that's the idea is like, oh, well, this showed up in like one of the current seasons because of the
that could be.
crossovers, so we're gonna put it out to just get that money. But it more so probably is just like, oh, we can get like 30 and 40 somethings to like go and buy this Megazord because
Yeah,
it tickles their nostalgia bone, and put no effort into it and just rake in the
yeah,
cash.
yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. For $40, it's fine. I'm not gonna like. My plan was originally to keep them untransformed as they
Mm-hmm.
were like in the Sentai version they're like gods, and so I was gonna leave them like that, but they look really bad in the dinosaur form, so I just transformed him, and I'm like, well, here we go. I'll
Yeah.
always buy an inexpensive Megazord just because, any of those things are expensive for like the older versions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just get these newer versions. So I mean, just with fair warning, at $40, you definitely get what you pay for.
Yeah. Hey, at least you
And
saved
then
$5 from compared to anyone who wastes their money on the shelves.
right. And then I'm going to take this giant box that it came in, this exclusive box, and recycle it.
Oh, but that box is so much cooler than the ones they came in.
It's very cool. I have no need for it. I will recycle it. This finally showed up from Pulse. This is
nice.
my Rogue and Pyro. This was one of my oldest outstanding Pulse orders, so they finally shipped that. But then on the flip side, I got something from them today that I didn't even think was coming this year, and this is the Dr. Dune re-release. Yeah, this thing is a piece of art. Not only does the figure look great, and this should have been the figure we got the first time around, but he's got great accessories, but this card, I can't open this now.
Oh, I know.
Right? I try to keep like one representation of their retro cards carded. So this one I'm going to keep, and I have like a Spider-Man, and I have Storm and Deadpool, and I think a couple others, but this one is just, I mean, look at it. I mean, just, oh man. So nice.
Spoiler alert, I pre-ordered 2 from Big Bad Toy Store.
I probably should have too. I didn't know I was going to get this and feel this strongly about like keeping it like this. So
I saw the stuff, and I'm like, I really want those accessories, and it looks so cool. But I was like, oh, that package is so beautiful. I don't know if I can do it.
It is. And then on kind of an anticlimactic note, I got the last 3 of the Joe Fixit wave through Amazon.
Oh,
so nice. I got Jocasta, Falcon, and Kang. The only bummer is with my Marvel Legends right now, I don't know if I mentioned this before, my Marvel Legends are all put away because I'm redoing where the display is going to go. And so, like, I have piles and piles of Marvel Legends that I haven't opened because I don't have any place to put them if I open them. So they're just kind of stacking up. But I did realize that with these and the Rogue and Pyro, I'm done for Marvel Legends for this year. Everything else they've announced. The only thing that they've announced that's coming are the Black Cat and Jonah Jameson figures, and those aren't supposed to be until the first of the year. Mm-hmm. They might sneak in beforehand, but I know of no other waves at this point. So,
but then again, that's kind of Hasbro's MO, is they'll be like, oh yeah,
true,
nothing's coming out, then boom, a random wave just hits. Like,
yep.
I still remember back when the Juggernaut wave randomly showed up at Walgreens in like full and like multiple sets. So like they do not care about distribution.
Yeah, sometimes it's all very strange. So yeah, it's gonna be weird because I think their planned schedule really got thrown out of whack with the changes to the MCU movies, because there should have been an Eternals wave out at this point. I don't know what comic figures would have been in there. Shang-Chi would have been ready to go for February, so probably that was one of the first waves that was supposed to come out either next year or the end of this year. So yeah, that stuff is definitely kind of on hold.
Yeah,
but that's it. I guess I should say I got one more thing, but it's not down here to show off, and it's technically sort of not really mine, but I got the Sideshow life-size Baby Yoda.
Well, I mean, by technically not yours, you mean it's your wife's.
Yes.
But hey, isn't that what marriage is? What yours is mine, what
right,
mine is yours?
Right.
So.
Yeah, but I mean, it's right now it's in our living room. It's a prominently displayed piece. It is a little creepy.
Yeah, I've seen
pictures
looks
of it. So real. Like the eyes.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I feel like that's something
weird,
that
but
you're
it's
gonna
nice.
Find at the outside your door when you go to pee in the middle of the night, and you're just gonna have bad night altogether.
Yeah. So
I have a friend who's getting it, and he keeps like sending me updates and pictures and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, things like those creepy, like my mom actually collects those like real life baby looking things.
Oh yeah.
And I always go into like her office, and there's like 2 of them sitting there. I'm like, why do you have these creepy demon babies just sitting there watching you work? What is wrong with you?
Yeah, this is bad enough, and I love Baby Yoda. So yeah.
That seems like a frightening time to be had at night. So before we wrap up, I do want to remind everyone of our giveaway. First, I want to celebrate. We have hit 100 subscribers.
Nice.
We're actually at 111. We hit it over the weekend. So that was super exciting. We finally have a real URL instead of just a bunch of letters and symbols. So that's awesome. So now, if you want to find us, even though you're clearly already watching, you just have to go to youtube.com/Modern Toyfare. It's
there we
fantastic. But we're still not done at 100. We want to, we want to keep going forever. But at least for the giveaway, we want to hit 350 YouTube subscribers. Once we do, we're giving away a first place prize of the Neca Ultimate Metalhead action figure and a second place prize of the extra large Neca Musical Mutagen Tour box bundle. And that includes an extra large t-shirt, tote bag, souvenir ticket, backstage pass, and 4 guitar picks. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel and share or retweet on Instagram or Twitter the post for the contest with the hashtag ModernToyFair100. If you're on Instagram, say it every week. Make sure you're posting this on your actual Instagram, not on your story, because I'm not going to go through and screenshot it. It's going to disappear in 24 hours and you're going to be SOL, and I'm not going to feel bad. So share those posts. Even if you've already done it, share it some more. Spread the gospel. How else are you going to get us there and, get your chance at winning something? Or you know what? I'm still not against if you want to make a bunch of fake ones or have your grandmas sign up. I don't care. Just get us to the number and I'll give some stuff away.
There we go.
But that is it for this week's Modern Toy Fair news. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. You can find Jamar over at Media Junkie on the Why Are You a Gamer podcast. He is still on hiatus. I do believe he planned on getting back to recording this month, but I don't think he understood what it meant to be a new dad, so we'll see on that one. Regardless, he does have a huge backlog of episodes you can listen to. It's not like an episodic thing. Each episode's its own thing. He talks to different people in the gaming community and finds out why they're a gamer. So make sure to check that out. It's a fun conversation. I was even on it, so go. I think it was episode 3 or 4. At least listen to that one, because that's going to be the best one either way. Now, last week, Nate did mention he threw the gauntlet down to his fellow figuratively speaking podcast members. I threw some shade on their Facebook page with sharing the link to the episode. I got left on red, so I don't know if you have any updates for us or not.
No, only the fact that they wanted to do, they were wanting to do an in-person recording this week, and I was like, I'm not going to be in the same room as you guys for a while yet. For right now, we're just kind of Ryan is looking into different aspects and stuff. So I guess we'll take it as a year hiatus, and hopefully we'll resume in January of 2021, and we'll just write off 2020 as a complete and utter misfire. So,
oh man,
yeah.
I mean,
but
Discord's not that scary. It doesn't work all the time, but it's not that scary.
No. But I don't do anything for this. I mean, I literally show up. I am a guest even on my own show. So,
but hey, at least they, consider you a staple, and you got to be a part of, because you guys did that Cleveland Comic-Con panel. We
got to do a couple of those. So we don't get to do them anymore because Ryan no longer has ties to Wizards. So
I thought maybe someone said something really bad at one of the panels. You guys got banned or something.
No. We just got we no longer are associated with the Wizard World Comic Cons, which is fine by me, because I hate them. But I was getting in for free, so
yeah. I mean, saving $70, which isn't bad.
Yeah, I always felt a little ripped off when I got in for free. So I always felt really bad for the people who were walking around who paid, and I was like, ugh, yikes, these are terrible.
Yeah, they're literally just there to shop. It's like a traveling shopping mall for nerds.
Yeah, but half the places that are there to be shopped, I've either been to their shops before, or they don't have anything that I want, or I just crazy expensive. Or I just don't need any fudge. Why are there so many fudge stands at comic book shows?
It took me a minute. It was like, what's he? I'm like, oh yeah, there are a lot of candy and fudge.
Always at least 2. And the root beer guy, I don't mind because the root beer is delicious. But the fudge, I'm sure it's delicious. You can see me on video. I don't need more fudge. It's not.
Well, that's the problem, Nate. Is they know their audience. They're like, okay,
that's true.
Nerds are usually out of shape and like chocolate. Yep. So what's the best place to go and set up shop? Comic-Con.
I never buy any fudge there.
I mean, only time I would be because the girlfriend would be like, "I want fudge." I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't care." Um, now I've lost my place in the closing, so let's
Yeah,
figure.
that's what I do.
If you'd like to support the Modern Toy Fair, click the little link below for tpublic.com. I sell everything from shirts, pillows, masks, phone cases, all sorts of different stuff. Has our logo on it, has other designs I've worked up in Photoshop, everything from like Umbrella Company to Dragon Ball to Batman. You name it, I've probably got it on there. So go give that a click, and I appreciate your face. Speaking of faces, if you enjoy our faces, hit the little bell, get notified when our videos go up. Modern Toy Fair news will go up on Fridays, and Modern Toy Fair reviews will go up on Mondays. If you absolutely hate our faces and think we are just complete ogres and you don't want to ever see them again, good news. We have an audio-only version of the podcast. Modern Toy Fair news is available on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Spotify, and other podcast apps you know and love. So check those out, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Same toy time, same Toy Fair channel. Thank you for watching.